Are you guys able to see my screen? No. Yeah, no? Okay. Yeah. So without further delay, maybe let me take you guys to the PPT. So yesterday we have discussed until this IR, and before this we have discussed about the parameters, variables, and two more the activities, which is set variable and append variable. So from that session, we got to know that how to build a sample pipeline and how to execute it, and then how to see the output parameters and all those things we have seen yesterday. So today maybe we'll continue further with a few other topics. Okay, and of course we have discussed this IR as well, integration runtime. And then today we'll continue with this link service dataset and lookup activity. Okay, so please be with me on this because we'll be using across the area of we'll be using this link service and dataset concept. Okay. Okay, so before coming to this link service concept, right? So let me take some sample example, some very simple scenario. Okay, suppose I need to do some extraction from some ADLS and I need to perform some minor transformations in between. Okay, so and then I need to land up this data, the transformed data into some target system. So assume that this is SQL database. So this is my simple workflow or use case in front of me. So if this is the case, what we need to do, first we need to connect to this ADLS system. Okay, why? Because if you are talking about pipelines, right? So yesterday we have seen. So if it is something like a simple wait activity or append a set variable activity. So we no need to connect to any other system, and we are not extracting data or pushing the data to that particular systems. It is simple logic what we have defined there, designed in your ADF pipeline. But here, if you see, so to perform some use case, to perform some activity, I need to connect to this particular service. So ADLS is another service. SQL database is different service. So to perform this activity, okay, first you need to understand. To connect to this particular one, and then you need to extract it. Okay, so that's how you need to do. Maybe even in other programming languages also the same case. So you need to connect to it, and then you can be able to interact and fetch the data from it. Okay, so if you take something, right, maybe suppose you have some book or something in a particular building. Okay, so you need to get it, you need to extract it from that book, or you need to get some medicine from a box, okay, which is in a building. Okay, so assume that, so that box is your data, so that box contains your data. So to go to that and to get that medicine or to get that content of that particular book, definitely you need that building address. Okay, so that address is nothing but here in Azure we call that as link service. Okay, so to connect to a system to get your data or to put your data, so definitely you need some service. So some configuration setting, maybe you can call that as configuration setting or connection setting, whatever it is. So you need this connection setting to connect to that. So after that, maybe you'll be doing something. Maybe you will extract the data based on your use case, or you push your data to that particular uh, uh, place. Maybe it is ADLS or SQL database. Okay. So, but before performing this activity, definitely you need to connect to it. So that is called link service. In ADF, we call that as link service, where we will be providing all our connection details. So here, right? So to connect to ADLS, so Azure Data Lake Service, you need one link service. So with that, Maybe if you know in that building you have one floor specific to some medical equipment, and second floor is a library and something like that, right? So if you know the building address, you can very well go to that particular first floor or second floor or whatever it is. So likewise, once you know this particular link service, and once you establish this particular link service, okay, to this particular ADLS, maybe you can extract 10 files. Okay, so you have employee file in that, department file in that, customer file, transaction file. So if you have one link service which you have established this connection, so very well you can extract any file which is present in this particular ADLS. Okay, so similarly you have something else you need to perform inside the SQL database. So obviously this is different service and this is different service. Maybe one building in some XYZ location and some other building in PQR location. So definitely you need both addresses. Okay, with single address you can't go to this one and as well as this one, right? So similarly, for one service, one link service, and for this SQL database, again you need one more link service. Okay, so likewise, wherever you are connecting, so for each and every service, you need one linked service. So then only you can be able to interact to it and you can perform whatever the tasks you want. So that is called link service. It is simply maybe we can simply say link service is something which connects ADF to a data source. So that is the textbook definition. Okay. Any questions on this as link service theoretically? So I'll show you how to do that practically from here. Okay, bear with me. Maybe this is a new ID which I'm using, not yesterday's. So I need to create maybe ADLS and then maybe data factories. I need to see if it is there or not. Then I need to create it. If it is not there, maybe yeah, I have a data factory instance. I'm just opening the data factory instance. And similarly, I'll try to open storage account as well. Okay, so inside the storage account, actually, I'm not having anything. So I'm creating one storage account over here. Okay, so assume I'm creating one storage account. So as you guys know, creating service, it asks some questions. Maybe you can use any name over here. Maybe I'll say TU trans dev SA. Okay, I'll keep everything as it is and I'll just create it. So this will create one storage account for you. Okay, so this is the Azure Data Factory. So let it get create first. Maybe I'm duplicating it. And I'll try to create SQL database instance as well. So that is the reason I have duplicated this. Maybe I'm going here and SQL database. So as you, maybe if you guys know what is SQL, but others, if you guys are not aware of what is SQL and the database, we'll discuss maybe starting from Saturday, we'll discuss only weekends. So that's what I said, right? So we'll discuss SQL concepts and everything. So for now, I'm just creating one SQL database instance for us for ADF practice. Okay, so I'm creating one SQL as well, SQL database. So SQL database, maybe you can create something like this, SQL database. Okay, I'm doing it parallelly because I don't need to wait until this is successful. So that is the reason I just opened one more. Okay, so please follow these steps while creating SQL database. It is something right. You have to create this SQL database. While doing this, obviously, just like your Azure Data Lake storage, you will be having something you have to enter here. So then you can be able to create it. So before this, for the first time when you are creating this SQL database, we can see some extra benefits they are providing, Azure is providing to us. So just go with and just say apply offer, so that you'll be getting one some extra space for you for the first time. Okay, so I'm just doing this apply offer, and then I'm coming to this particular part, and I'll select my existing resource group, and that database name I can say TU trans DB. Okay, so that's what I just gave, simple one. Okay, So in this, right, maybe a small background for this. So when you talk about a database server, so in terms of database, right, so you'll be having something, some background. Database is simply it's a collection of tables, and we'll make some relationship between the tables, and tables will maintain columns, rows. Okay, so something like that. So all those things we will discuss in very detail. So I'm just trying to explain you what is database and what is server. Okay, so think something in terms of real time, right? I'll come back to this. So in real world, suppose you have some college. Okay, so inside the college, you have some library building. So assume that you have one library building. So inside the library building, so the first floor is holding the books related to mechanical engineering, and second floor is about computers and medical, something like that. Okay, so in this case, in this mechanical engineering or computer floor, right? So inside the computer floor, again, you will be having different desks. Okay, so inside the desk, maybe you'll be having different books. So inside the books, you'll be having your actual content. Okay, so here, if you compare this to your computer language, so that building you can call that as a server. Okay, so server will be holding different information. So that information is scattered, maintained, logically grouped. Okay, so that logical group is for better maintenance, better understanding. Okay, at user level or at admin level. So since we are talking about building, right? So building. So the first floor is talking about mechanical, second floor is this, third floor is this, something like that. So that the students who are approaching to that particular building, so we can easily provide particular access to those to those students, and we can revoke the stuff. So something maintenance is very easy, and the books, whatever is storing in that particular place, we'll talk about a particular part, particular engineering or something like that. Okay, so similarly here we'll be maintaining server. So inside the server we'll be having different databases. Maybe each project will be holding one database. Maybe sales team, they are working on a project, so they'll be creating a database, and inside the database uh, they'll be having different tables. Maybe customer, the customer information will be holding in a particular table, and the daily transactions will be done, right? So those transactions will be in one particular table, and maybe some franchise or suppliers. So those information will be into different tables, and customer table will be having customer information, sales table will be having sales information. So likewise, maybe some business, so they are using some marketing. So marketing will be having their own database, something. They'll divide into different groups. Okay, so how about server and database relationship? Maybe one server may have multiple databases, or maybe I don't want mechanical engineering computer students into the same building. I want to maintain one building for each branch. Maybe for mechanical, I want to use one building and altogether, and for computers, maybe different building. So if that is the management decision, so they'll be separating that into two different buildings, and they'll be maintaining their own shelves or books or something like that. So similarly, so the entire enterprise, do they want to maintain single server or multiple servers? It is their decision. Okay, so inside the server, maybe you will be having multiple databases. So technically, you just need to understand that. But while working, right, you will not feel that difference. Why? Because you will not be creating server, you will not be creating database, you will not be creating tables as well. So we will not be having access to any of these things. So we'll not be creating anything. So we'll just get to know these are the tables which are talking about your data. So we'll just connect to that particular table, and we'll extract the data, and sometimes we'll push the data to that particular tables. That's all. So the creation, we never have the access to it. Okay, so remember that. So with that background, maybe I'll come back to this creation. So before proceeding further, do you guys have any questions? So this is created. Okay. So the database name, I just gave some name over here, and server. So server, definitely, as I mentioned, to create database. See, first of all, if you want to place some mechanical books into your library, there should be some building, right? So inside the building, you have to place it. So same way, first of all, you need server. So inside the server, then you go with the database and then tables, whatever you want. So here I'm not having any server created. So you can create on the fly. Okay, so just click on this, create new. So I'm just explaining you. So please follow this. I will not explain this again while the discussion of SQL. So I'll just go straight away and I'll reuse this. So create new server name. So what do you want? Server name. So maybe I can say trans server, TU trans server. Okay. And I'll not change the location. And then you have given something, right? So to the student, definitely they need some authentication to enter into that building. So same way, whoever is going to interact with this server, so they need to log in with some user ID and password. And there are two ways to log in to this particular server. Okay, so one is Entra ID, Entra only authentication. So Entra ID is nothing but this one. So Entra ID we discussed, right, in the first initial discussion. So it is something when you enter into any project, when you have access to your portal. So by default, you will be having one user ID, which has been created in your Entra ID service. Okay, so this is Entra ID. So do you want to log into this particular server only with your Entra ID? So if that is the case, so this is the option. Or do you want to use SQL authentication? So meaning I can give you some user ID and password. So whenever you try to log in, maybe you can use that particular user ID and password or both. So both ways, maybe I can use this or this. Anyway, I need to log into my SQL database and SQL server and I need to work on. So if that is the case, maybe you can click on this. So select this option so that you will be having both accesses with you. Okay. So now server admin login. So you have to provide what you want. Maybe I can give my user ID as admin and okay, admin contain SQL identifier. Okay, ADMN. I just gave ADMN because admin is some kind of keyword, so it is not allowing that. So I just gave that one. So this is okay, password. Okay, so before setting up, as I said, you gave this server name. What is your server name? And then how do you want to log into this? You just need to provide that. And whenever you try to log in, right, you need to remember this. So your login user ID and password. So whatever the password you gave here. And then, yeah, maybe just say okay. So here what we have done, okay, so this subscription does not have space access to create our server. So just change this to something else. Okay, so now we have created this server. Okay, so TR trans SER. So that's what we have created. And again, now we came back to database window. So you got that right? Maybe in the previous window, we have created server. So now after server creation, we came back to database window. So inside the database window, we gave database name, server name, what we are expecting, and don't touch anything. Why I'm saying don't touch? All this is infra team responsibility. You don't need to explore and you don't need to do anything. Okay. So I'm just going further. Okay. Okay. I'll not say anything. Start free trial. And then, okay. Okay. So I'm not doing anything there. Use it. So in this additional settings, you have one option called use existing data. So just go with this sample. So enable that sample. Why? Because when you click on this sample, so the Azure itself will be providing some data for us, maybe some 5 to 6 tables they'll be providing to us, so that we no need to look for data. So to your practice, right, we no need to create some customers data, transactions data. So what are the fields? What are the data type to those fields? What kind of data we need to insert? So whether we are inserting proper data into sales customers. So definitely there should be some data inside your customer, and the same customer should be available in sales as well, right? So all those things you no need to think when you click on the sample. So the entire data, the proper data will be available for you, and you can be able to practice without any further uh, effort from us. Okay, so just click on this sample and then tags review create. I just created this. So now we have created two instances, two services. One is Azure Data Lake Storage, and second one is SQL database. So that's what we have created, two instances. Okay, so with that, maybe I'm just going to Azure Data Factory again. Okay, so why we have created this? We are going to work with data lake storage and as well as SQL from ADF. So that is the reason these two should be in place first. So that's the reason I went back and I have created this service and as well as this service. Now we are going to interact from ADF to this storage points. So this is one of the storage and this is another storage. So okay, any questions for me? Okay. Yeah, I'm going back to slide. So link service, it is something like, as I mentioned, connection configurations for your whatever it is, whether it is source or target, you need this link service. Okay. So with this, maybe I'll come back to this pictorial representation once I discuss this data set. Okay. Yeah, I'm going here. I'm just trying to create one pipeline. Okay, so which I need to interact to a particular maybe here I'm having some file or some data, so I need to interact with this one, or I have some data inside my table and I need to interact with this database table, and I need to extract from database table to my data factory. Okay, so and always remember, we always think about data and we always work on the data. So that means to work on the data based on some use case, definitely you need to extract from somewhere and you need to apply something and then you need to put that back to somewhere. Okay, so if I ask you some complicated or complex use cases, definitely you will not understand. So that is the reason we are just going topic by topic. Okay, so don't think like why do I need to extract from here? So what is the point of creating all this? So don't uh, get into that particular impression. Slowly we are just creating things and we are slowly adapting the terminology, and then we'll jump into the actual use cases. Okay, so that's long way to go. Maybe I'm just going to this. Any questions? Okay, so this is storage account, whatever we have created, right? So inside the storage account in ADLS, so you'll be creating your data, something like this. So if your actual Windows, right, inside the Windows, so how do you do? You'll be opening some folder. Inside the folder, you'll be creating, yeah, inside this, you'll be creating some folders. So inside the folders, you'll be creating a few more folders, and then you'll be storing your data, whatever you want. So same way, in ADLS, you'll be having something like called containers. So containers, you can think of something similar to your folder. So, so maybe each project may have multiple containers or single container uh, based on your use case. Okay, so where do you see that containers? So inside this data storage containers, or if you do not know anything, then you can just simply search from here and you can see containers. So inside the containers, you can create whatever you want. Maybe I will create a container. Okay, so which holds your actual data. Okay, maybe do trans container. So inside this container, we will store our data. Maybe I'll store my customer data, sales data, whatever the data I want. I'll store and I'll extract from the different services. Maybe ADF, this is one of the ingestion tool, and you need to extract the data, right? You'll extract it. And maybe after a few transformations, I want to store this back to ADLS. Maybe here I can store into different directory or into different container. So that depends. Okay. So maybe I'll create one directory. I'll say maybe incoming. So all the data I'll store in extract from this particular incoming. So how do you store the data? Maybe I have some data in my Windows folders. I want to upload the data into my storage account, okay, into this particular directory. So how to do that? You can do that by using this upload. So just click on this upload and you can browse your files from here. Uh, Okay, data. So here I'm having different data. Maybe you can extract the data. I just selected all those and I'm just trying to export those files. So those got ready and I can do upload. Or if you want to specify override if file already exists. So whatever the you have selected, if you want to override, maybe you can do that and do upload. So those files will be available inside your ADLS now. So whatever the data inside your actual Windows, right? So those files are available in my ADLS account now. Inside my this container, inside this directory, I have this data. Maybe I will create one more directory, which is outgoing, maybe output data I'll be creating over here. So I'll upload one sample file. Otherwise, it will not be available. So no file is there now. So the directory will be disappear. So that is the reason I just uploaded someone very sample file. Okay. So once you upload this, right? Maybe how do you see the data or how to interact with this container, ADLS account, all those things, right? Maybe you can just click on this. Okay, so once you click this, you can get some window, something like this. It will give you overview. So what is the URL of this file? Okay, so you can copy this. So this will be the actual URL of your file and few other metadata about your file. Okay, so this metadata also we'll discuss in some time. Okay, what is this key and all these things? It's not required, of course. Okay, and then edit. So edit will tell you the data. So this will show you the actual data inside this particular file. Okay, so if you remember SAS, shared access signature key, like how to interact to this file, how can I extract this particular file from my ADF? So one option is by using this SAS. Okay, so but we will not use this even in real time. Also, we will not be using this SAS. Maybe if you want, you can generate this SAS and you can use this SAS in ADF. Okay, but we will not be doing that. So this is how you will be able to see the data. And other thing is maybe you can click on this particular uh, three dots, and there you can see different options. Okay, so different options, something like properties. Again, this will take you to the same whatever we have seen earlier. And then if you want to see the data, just data, maybe then you can just click on that viewer data. That will take you to that particular edit button and URL. So if you want to copy URL, you can copy that URL. And if you want to download the data, which is available in your ADLS account into your local machine, so then you can do this download. And if you want to generate SAS, you can do the SAS, and remaining things are not required for us. Okay, if you want to clone, if you want to copy, then you can do this clone. So that is how you can think of inside this particular ADLS. Any questions for me? Okay. Yeah, and then we have another concept called data set. So I got the information like I can be able to reach out to that particular building. okay, library through some address. Okay, so that is something like I got the link service with configuration details. Okay, I have reached there. And now I need to extract the data from a file or from a table. So to do that, you need to understand where is that specific shelf or where is that exact book is present. So that you need to get into, right? So that is representing by a concept called data set in area. So through data set, you can be able to interact to the exact shelf or exact book. Okay, so I want to extract suppose this 2019.csv file from this particular storage account. So from ADLS, I can be able to connect to this particular storage account through link service. Okay, through link service, I can be able to connect to this one. Okay, I have connected to storage account. Now my next task, the main task is for me is to extract the data from this particular 2019.csv. So to do that, you need to do some setup. So that setup is nothing but data set. Okay, so we'll see how to set up this data set and link service. So link service, again, we will not be creating most of the times. Okay, so maybe some exceptional projects, you data engineers, developers will be having access to create link service, but most of the times it will be done by infra team. Okay, so data set, this is our part. So we have to create data sets. So how intelligently you create data set, how effectively you use a data set, that is your intelligence, data engineers intelligence. Okay, so as I mentioned, the link service is something address of your warehouse, and data set is something which represents what source or target you want to extract or put into a particular place. Okay, so that's about link service and dataset theoretically. So now I'm going back to data factory, and now we'll try to create link service and dataset, and we'll try to extract the data from storage account, some particular file, and from database. Okay, so that we'll see. So once you do that, that means you are able to interact to the your data, and you can be able to perform something. After performing something, you can be able to push the data to these respective things. Okay, so that we will see now. So inside this, link service, obviously, as I mentioned, it's a one-time activity. So to connect to storage account, it's a one-time activity. Once you define that particular connection setting, you always use the same link service, and you can extract 2019 file or product file or something else. So whatever you want, you can be able to extract it. Only thing is you need one-time activity, which is link service. Okay, so that's how you need to create this link service. Okay, so yesterday we have seen integration runtime, and by default you'll be having auto resolve integration runtime. But based on your use case, maybe we'll be having one more integration runtime, that is self-hosted integration runtime. Okay, so that's what we discussed yesterday. And link service. I'm trying to create a new link service. So as I mentioned, so this link service, this connection settings, unique or separate for each service. So if you want to connect to storage account, there will be one link service. And if you want to connect to SQL database, there is one. And Synapse, there is another. So likewise, based on your use case, you need to create those many link services, and you need to use those link services while developing pipeline. Okay, I'm creating new link service. So these are the different data stores or data sources or target systems, whatever you want, whatever you say. So you can be able to interact with these many data sources. Okay, data stores you can be able to interact from your Azure data factory. So you can be able to connect to Amazon S3 buckets, Amazon RDS, Oracle systems, or you can be able to connect to Cosmos DB. So many things you can be able to do, and you can be able to perform it. So that depends on your use case. So here I'm trying to create link service for ADLS SQL database. You can be able to do that. Okay. So the remaining things, it is just on the fly based on your use case and based on your data. You need to perform that. Uh, data lake storage. Okay. So I'm trying to create link service for this particular ADLS Gen 2. So just click on this, and then once you do this, you can get some window like this. Maybe give some link service name to it, link service to ADLS. Okay, LS underscore ADLS. So this is what I gave as a link service name. And then, so here if you see what IR you are going to use for this link service. So that means what is the computation? Okay, how you are going to interact with your this particular data store. Maybe you are connecting to ADLS and you are performing something. So which IR you want to use? So as I mentioned, if it is cloud services, you can very well use this auto resolve IR. If you are interacting with some Oracle, if you are interacting with some SQL server, then you have to give SHIR. Okay, Azure IR will not be helpful for you if you are connecting to Oracle, some on-premises stores, okay, data stores. So that's how I just gave IR over here. And authentication type. So how do you want to connect to this particular link service? So SAS, so that's what we have seen earlier. So if you want to give some SAS, so whatever the SAS we have seen, this is only for your this file. Okay. But if I want to connect to the entire storage account, you have to use this SAS, shared access tokens. Okay. So you can generate and you can use this over here. Okay. But I will be using account key only. So apart from account key and SAS key, we have discussed two more. So in the first discussion of our Azure, so we have discussed there are four ways of authentication so that you can be able to do. So one is SAS, account key, and then yeah, managed identity and service principal. Okay. So SP, that is the more way we'll be using. Most of the times we'll be using SP, service principal, that we'll see later. So right now I'm using account key. Okay. So how do you want to connect? So there should be some authentication, right? Okay, so that is what this authentication type indicates. Azure subscription. So what is your subscription? So here you have only one subscription, but in your actual projects you may have multiple subscriptions. Maybe in development you will be having some 10 different teams working, so they may have 10 different subscriptions. So to whichever subscription you have access to, so those you can see from this particular drop down. Okay, then you have to select the appropriate subscription. So why? When you do this, right? So whatever the cost, if you are bundling some cost to extract the data, to transform the data or something, right? So that cost will go to this particular subscription. Okay, so that cost directly implies to this particular project. So that can be done something like this. It is very simple to manage. So that's what I meant in the initial discussions. So storage account name. So since we have created single storage, right? So you can see only that particular storage account. So if you create multiple, so you can see multiple inside this particular drop down. So I just selected this. So once you do this, since it is Azure internal, right? So it is automatically that will get this account key. So you no need to do anything. You just, if you want, you can just do this test connection. So this will connect test your. Oh, okay, it got failed. The endpoint does not support blah, 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 blah. Operation return invalid. Timestamp conflict. What is this error? Please disable these account features if you would like to use this endpoint. I'm not sure what is this error, so let me check. It is something like we just need to disable something. This is a classic one. Try, but your storage has features enabled that are not supported by that endpoint. How to fix this? Storage account data protection disable. Okay. So I just need to go here and maybe I need to disable something, other storage account, and then data protection. Data protection, where is data protection? Then two no sub let me create a new one. Let me try PDF demo. Buffer storage type to trans dev storage account. This to US. This have standard. Okay. Okay, actually this everything will be done by front team. So every time I'll get some confusion or enable point in time, enable out delete. Okay. Remove or reserve elements, sub delete for plus disable. Yeah, maybe I just created another storage account. Let us see. I'm supposed to disable these options, so that's what it representing. And I thought of creating link service for ADLS and as well as SQL database, so that from next time onwards we can be able to very well interact with this. Okay. Okay, so that is the reason. Maybe you need to disable while creating storage account. So I just created this and I've disabled that. So I'm able to create it. Okay, so I have created link service to the ADLS account. Okay, so if you want, maybe, okay. I have created pipeline, but I have not created anything inside that. So that is the reason it is throwing an error. Maybe I'll use one wait. Okay, and then I'll publish so that it will publish this one and as well as link service. Okay, now I'll go here. I'll go back to my storage account and I'll try to push some data so that I can be able to extract from my source, right? So whatever the data I have created there, maybe I'll try to create here as well. But because we are going to interact with SA1, add container, tu trans container. Maybe I'll create one folder again, same way as before, income, upload, browse, some data. Okay, so I'm able to upload the data into my storage account. Now, our intention is from this particular pipeline, area of pipeline, I want to extract from that particular one to here. So that's what our intention. Okay, so how to do that? So wait, let us do that. So I told you one more thing, right? Maybe link service, yes, we made the connection from ADF to ADLS. So now our intention is to extract the data from a particular file. So to do that, definitely you need data set. So to connect to that, to get into that particular shelf, so you need some connectivity, some establishment, right? Something in place. So that is data set. So where do you see the data set? The data set will be inside your author. Why? Because this is our responsibility and this is not one time. So link service is one time. So that is the reason you can see that in manage. But your design, as part of your design, you need to make this data set for every data you want to connect. So if you want to connect to SQL database, it's part of your design. Okay, so it's not one time. So that is the reason you can see that inside the author. So I'm going to data set and I'm creating a new data set. Okay, so which represents the Azure Data Lake storage. Okay, so here again you have to say to which data store you want to connect to from this particular data set. Maybe I'll say Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Okay, so once you do this, it will ask you what type of data it is. So inside this, yes, you are saying I need to connect to this particular storage account. That's fine. Then what next? What kind of data you are looking for? So what kind of data you are going to extract it? So what are the different kinds of data that we'll discuss in detail at the time of Databricks, not now. Okay, so you'll be having Avro, CSV files, JSON, so many Parquet. You'll be having Delta as well, so that will not be here. That is indirectly it's a Parquet file. Okay, so you can see multiple file formats, and you have to specify upfront. Okay, so if you want to extract some CSV, so right now it is CSV. I'm pointing to CSV. Okay, so Parquet, all those things we'll see later. So for simplicity, I'm using delimited CSV file, and I'm just continuing. Okay, so you mentioned you are going to connect to Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 and CSV file. Then what next? Maybe I'll give some data set and then maybe ADLS, then file. I want to extract ADLS file through this data set. So that's what I meant by this name. And then, okay, you are going to extract something. What is your link service? What is the address? Maybe I need to get some book, but you need to go to that building. So that is nothing but this link service. So this link service you can specify so that through this configuration setting, I'm going to extract something. So what do you want to extract? That you have to specify over here. Okay, so you have connected to this, and then maybe you can specify your path directly over here, or you can browse it. Okay, so you can browse it. So once you specify browse, right? So we have already given the link service. So the link service will tell you where you want to connect. So this link service will tell you, I want to connect to this particular storage account through this account key. Okay, so that's what I'm saying through link service. So once you do that, what do you want to extract? So since we have given this, right? So that's why when you say browse, you are directly pointing to that particular storage account. Okay, so since it is already connected through this link service, otherwise you just need to get this particular URL, copy URL, and then based on that particular URL, you have to copy paste this information over here. Okay, so instead of that, maybe go here, select this uh, storage account, and then this is my directory. And maybe I want to extract the data of this 2019.csv. So once you do that, you can be able to see what is your expectation. And if your file is having header, so that means here I'm not having header, I guess. So if it is saying what this data is, maybe this is something ID, this is some serial number, or this is some date. So if you have such kind of field information as a first record, then you have to select this as first row as header. This is not this is not having a header, so I'm just disabling this. Okay, then save OK. Okay, so with this, I am able to create a data set. Okay, so once you create this data set, maybe again you can see multiple options over here. Okay, so once you do that, maybe you can see connection. This we'll discuss later. So inside this, you can see multiple options again. So whatever you want, maybe based on your interest, maybe based on the use case, you will be selecting all this stuff. Maybe it's not a comma separated, but it's a pipe separated file. Okay, in that case, you need to select this one. If it is semicolon separated from one field to another field, then you have to select that. So likewise, you need to do that. Maybe row delimiter. So your row is delimited with some carriage return or new line. So if that is the case, you need to specify that. Okay, so quotations. So some columns may be having quotations. So how do you represent that? Is it single quote or double quote? So that those kind of things you need to select over here. Okay, so that depends on your use case. But this is good enough. 90% of the cases, this is good enough. Most of the things are common. Okay, so if it is very rare, then you need to go and pick up and you need to fill this information. Okay, so with that, maybe I'm publishing it. Okay, again, I have removed it. Your pipeline should be having at least one activity, right? So that is the range that is failing. Okay, I have published. Now, I want to extract the data from that particular file, right? Okay. So how do you do that? So there are different ways. Okay. So there are different maybe activities inside ADF to interact with your data stores. Okay. So one is lookup activity. Okay. Another one is get metadata activity and copy activity. Okay. So lookup activity is something I think I have in this. Okay. So it just extracts the data. Suppose I have a file. If I want to see the data from that particular file, or I want to get the data from storage account to ADF. I want to get data from here to my ADF platform. If that is the case, we'll be doing this lookup activity. Okay, but it will not extract the data and put into some place. Suppose I want to extract from here and I want to put that back to some SQL. Okay, if that is the case, lookup will not work for you. Lookup is only to extract the data from a particular data store. So why do I need to do that without doing anything, without placing into something? Why do I need to use that lookup activity? There are some scenarios. Definitely, there are some business use cases where we will be discussing a lot. Okay, going forward. So, but now just understand that to extract some data from your data store, maybe it's a file or it's a database, you need to use lookup activity. Okay, so after extracting what you want to do, maybe we will see. After discussion of few more activities, right? So something like this. So we'll see. We'll combine two, three different activities or 10 different activities combined together to get some use case. Okay, so to do that, definitely you need to start some activity, right? So that is nothing but lookup activity now. Okay, so here we'll be using lookup activity and you can be able to extract the data. Okay, so I'll be using lookup activity now. So lookup activity. Okay, so this lookup activity basically it will be having some tabs again. So same way like other activities, you'll be having different tabs yes for your activity. It's not that every activity will be having the same thing. Suppose if you see copy data activity, so it will be having different tabs. Okay, so that depends on the nature of your activity. Okay, so now lookup activity. So here maybe you can change this based on your interest. Okay, so all these things, right? We'll discuss one by one. Not now, maybe I'll take this up later. And then I want to extract from this. Okay, so I know lookup activities, the purpose of lookup activity is to extract the data from something. Okay, what is that something? Where do you want to extract the data? That's what this data set represents. I know I want to extract the data from ADLS. Then you will be selecting ADLS related data set, and you can be able to extract the data from here. And if I want to extract the data from database, then you have to create data set related to SQL, and then you have to connect to this particular lookup, and then you can be able to extract the data. Okay, so that we will see later. So for now, I'm just trying to extract the data from a ADLS file over here. Okay, so I'm just selecting this. Okay, so once you do this, again, you'll be having multiple options. So all those options, again, we will see later. Right now, our intention is just the basic nature and how to extract the data. Okay, and inside this, right, you have first row only. If you select this from this particular file, whatever you selected, only first record will be selected. Okay, I don't want that. I'm expecting all the records from that particular file. Okay, so that's all. So this is the simple setting of your lookup. Okay, why I'm saying simple? You have to discuss, you have to understand all these options and as well as all the remaining options over here. Okay, so those things will slowly discuss all that stuff. Okay, so if we discuss everything at one go, that will be very heavy, and also these things will be discussed with use cases. So instead of by hearting, we'll get some use case. Okay, so that time you will understand better instead of by hearting. Okay, so now I have done the basic setup to my lookup activity. Now I'm ready to extract the data from this particular file. Okay, so done. Now I'll execute my pipeline. Okay, so this data set, I'm just closing this. So once you do this lookup activity, maybe you can see how is this executing and what are the inputs you have passed to this. So inputs are something, this lookup activity, right? It will be having something like what is the integration runtime and all those details. Okay, it's not, you are not giving any input to this. Okay, and if you see the output of your lookup, maybe you could see the data something like this. So there are total 1201 records are there. So what is the data inside this? And why I'm seeing this? So there is no fields. So that's what we have selected, right? So the first record is not a header. If it is header and if it is holding some column names, so those column names will be coming over here. Okay. So same way, maybe let us see if there is a column information. Okay, so this is also not having columns. Others. Let us give some columns. Uh, no, I don't want to go with this quotations and everything. Yeah. Azure trainings, customers, employee, orders. Okay, so here I'm having columns. So order ID, PID, status, something like that. So I'm having this orders, right? I'll let me take this orders into my storage account. So here, right, you can do a lot. Maybe I can just drag and drop. Where is this? Okay, you can be able to drag and drop orders. Okay, I just uploaded. Okay, so now I want to see the data and I want to extract this data, right? So I can simply go here and maybe here, right? You have created this one, and I have mentioned something, right? Let me select that particular part, orders. You need to get some doubt here. Okay, so if you see, right, now for this particular file, it's not comma delimited, it's pipe delimited. So that's where you need to change. Okay, so but in your actual real time, you will not get data, some data in comma, pipe. So those many confusions, that much complexity is not there nowadays. Okay, so everything will be comma separated or something like that. I'm just going here and I'm just executing this again. I'll take a few more minutes. Please bear with me. I've already taken permission from you guys. Buffer time 10-15 minutes. So until 10:15, I have right to take my session. Okay. So here, right, this is something it's not giving properly, but because in data set you have not selected the first record as a header. So that is the reason you are unable to do that. So if you see source data set, so this is the source data set. I want to open this and I want to make the change. So just open this and then you can say, uh, where did I see that? No compression pipe. No backslash. Yeah, first row as header. So I'm just doing that and I'm saving this. And again, I'm going back to pipeline and then I'll execute once that publish is done. Today, actually, I have attended one Microsoft provided training. It is about Microsoft Fabric and was a very senior leadership. They came and explained few things about Microsoft Fabric, right? So they're mentioning the in future, maybe in few months or years, they're expecting nowadays, right? If you're thinking of some project, so inside the project, there are some 10 human beings are working in that, or 30 human beings are working in that. And because of this AI, so that 30 count came down to 20 or 15. And we are using some AI agents. And some 10 human beings are working in the project. And if people are working in shifts, right? Suppose three members are working in first shift and three more people will be working in second shift. So the people will be handing over whatever they have done in first shift to the second shift guys. Okay. So going forward, what they are expecting is AI agents are directly going to embed into the project model, and the way you are handshaking between the human beings, maybe we need to work with AI agents and you need to handshake with AI agents as well. So that's what they are saying. Okay. How far it is, maybe we need to see. Yeah. If you see now, you can be able to see the proper data, maybe your field names and actual data, field name, actual data. So likewise, you are able to extract the data from somewhere to your area. Okay. So this is one part. Now, any questions? Any questions for me? Yeah. Yeah. Lookup activity, if you see here, you are just extracting the data from some data store to your ADF. Okay. So you are not copying the data into some other place or some other service. Okay. So after this, what do you want with this particular data? Maybe you can be able to write some data. Sorry, some logic. Okay, after extracting the data, so if I want to do some filter or if I want to make some change on top of the data, you can be able to do that. But copy data activity, inside the copy data activity itself, if I want to copy from this particular location to some other location, or from ADLS to SQL database, inside single copy data activity itself, you can just transfer the data from that service, that source to target. It's a data movement activity. Copy data activity is data movement activity, but lookup activity is not a data movement activity. Exactly, exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why I'm looking for so we need to do that. So that's how that I'm about to say that actually I'm expecting that question as well. Okay. Suppose the simple thing, right? So here I'm having 5 files or 10 files, 100 files, 1,000 files. Does that mean do I need to create 100 data sets, one data set for each file? No, it is going to be generic. So we are going to parameterize, and based on the parameters, we can be able to extract from different files with single data set. Okay, so that's why I have introduced parameters yesterday. So I'll take another 5 to 10 minutes of time. Okay, I'm trying to explain that particular parameterization now. Okay, so as I mentioned, right? So here you have done this one, maybe this file path and one more directory, and here you have hard coded your file name. So that means every time when you interact with your pipeline from lookup activity, okay, so you will be extracting only for from that particular orders.txt. So if I want to extract from to 2019.csv, again you need to go to that particular data set and you need to make the change. But my intention is maybe I'll connect to this storage account, okay, through link service. But I want to extract from this file and maybe this file. So based on my interest, maybe I'll be extracting some file. Okay, so if that is the case, make this as parameterized. Don't hard code this. So the way we have used yesterday, right? So wait seconds. Don't make it too hard code, parameterize it so that you can be able to pass what do you want at runtime. So same way you can be able to do that at data set level. So if you see yesterday, I have told you. So parameters, okay, I have, okay, yeah, I have given. Data set level also, you can be able to make that parameterization. So here I need to make a parameter. So where do you define that? I'll be defining parameters at data set level. I will do that over here. Just create something like file name. Okay, and use that file name over here. So add dynamic content, you know that, and just select this file name. And if you see here, yesterday we see this as pipeline dot some parameter name. So now you could see data set dot something. So that means it's a data set level parameter. Okay, so I just did that. Okay, so now it is not going to be a hard-coded file name. Instead, you are passing file name wherever you are calling this one. Okay, so now I'm coming back to pipeline. If you see here, now I'm able to see file name as a value over here by default. I have not done anything, right? So I'm just using this. Once you make the change here, automatically when you're calling the same data set, automatically you can see file name over here. Okay. So now maybe what file name you want to pass? Maybe I can pass artist.txt here. Okay. And again, few more questions are there, but let me execute for now until this point. Okay. So I gave artist.txt and I have executed this. There are different level of passing parameters. So try to understand that. So now I'm able to, okay, it got failed. File system does not exist. Specified path does not exist. Orders.txt. Okay. So something happened. Maybe we gave incorrect information. Orders.txt. Okay. Open. Oh, this is incorrect, right? Directory name is income, not. Yeah, I'm able to extract the data from orders. Okay. So same way, suppose I want to extract the data from 2019.csv file now. Okay. So I can be able to do that just by changing that to 2019.csv file. So I can be able to extract it. I don't want to change anything inside the data set, or I don't want to create one more data set for extracting 2019 CSV. Okay, I just make some change or change inside my pipeline, and I'm able to extract the data from that 2019.csv. Okay, and you can be able to see the data something like this. So something because one is comma delimited and another one is pipe delimited. So that is the reason you are seeing the data something like this. But otherwise, you are able to extract the data from your data store. Okay. So same way, if I want to extract the data from 2020, you can be able to do that as well. But here again, one more challenge. So if I want to do this, do I need to go to pipeline and do I need to make the change at activity level? Not. Again, I will make that as my pipeline level parameter. Maybe I'll say file name is at my pipeline level, and I will pass file name at the time of run, and that I will pass to my data set. So here, instead of hard coding, I'll pass pipeline parameter, which has been defined at pipeline level, and I'll be using that parameter over here. Okay. So indirectly, you are creating pipeline level parameter, and that pipeline level parameter you are passing to dataset, and by passing the dataset parameter over here, so that will take you to here, and this will hit to your dataset and to this link service wherever you are connecting to. So to that particular link service it will go, and that will extract your actual file. So that is the interconnectivity. Okay, so that's how I have defined here. So nowhere I have created hard coded value now. Okay, so I'll pass everything at the time of run. So debug. So here I'll say 2020.csv. So it will extract the data from 2020.csv file. So when I execute later, maybe something else. Okay, still more, lot other things are there. So why do I need to create parameter here, and why do I need to give as input parameter when while execution? So that is also not required. So those things will be taken care at trigger level or at some control table level. So those things we'll discuss later. So it will be very heavy at this moment of time. So until this point, just try to understand how we you created here, how you are propagating here, and from here, how is this going here, and from this, as you guys know, link service. So that will go to the actual data store, and from there it will extract the data. So this is how you will make it generic. So it is not going to be static, and you are not going to hard code anywhere, and you'll be extracting everything, and you are creating automated way. Okay, it's a parameterized pipeline, simple pipeline. Okay, so you will, as of now, right? So we just understood the concept and usage of lookup activity, but where we use this, we'll see at a real-time use case. After discussing three or four activities, then I'll come back to the actual use case. That time we'll combine two, four activities, and then we'll try to understand the business use case. Okay, so maybe I'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll see how to create SQL database link service and how to extract the data from link database, and then further. Okay, any questions for me?